Welcome back, lawn lovers. BW here again. I've been waiting a long time for this. It's finally time for me to see if my efforts to avoid another terrible case of snow mold have worked out for me. It's also my first chance to see how the rest of my lawn looks after another long winter. So let's take a look, starting right here on the side yard that I've never shown you before because it's just so narrow that I can't even water it properly during the summer. It's all Kentucky bluegrass and does quite well here all on its own. I did nothing to prevent snow mold here except to mow it shorter in the fall. You can see that there's quite a bit of snow mold damage in both my lawn and the neighbor's lawn, mostly in this area here. Why here? I don't know. Now over here in the front yard. Well, there is some snow mold again this year, despite treating it with fungicide last fall. The good news is that the damage is much less than it was last year. The neighboring lawns actually have more damage than I do. So the fungicide worked, but it wasn't able to stop all of it. That's often the case with snow mold. Fungicides are always a hit or miss proposition with snow mold. Sometimes they don't seem to work at all, like last year, and sometimes they work very well, like the year before last. Let's take a closer look here. The grass is all matted down, but I think I can still see a few green grass blades down in there. Yes, there's a few more over here. Some spots really look dead in the middle, like this one. I may have to drop some seed in some of those bigger and deader spots. The front lawn here is 70% Perennial Ryegrass and 30% Kentucky Bluegrass. After snow mold, the Kentucky Bluegrass is able to grow back and fill in on its own, but the Perennial Ryegrass often needs to be reseeded. So I may sprinkle some Perennial Ryegrass seed in the bad spots to try to maintain that 70-30 ratio of Perennial Ryegrass to Kentucky Bluegrass. Overall, I'm very happy with the results this year. It was worth a little extra effort and expense to prevent the snow mold this year. Last year I had to overseed the entire front lawn. Let's take a look at the back lawn now. There is some snow mold here behind the garage, but the rest of the lawn looks pretty good. Here's a closer view of the damage behind the garage. And a photo from a couple of days later that better shows the extent of the damage. It's much worse here than in previous years. Maybe I should use some fungicide in this area. Here's last year's renovation that I dormant seeded last fall. I rarely ever see snow mold damage in newly seeded areas like this, and there's none here this year either. Here's a closer look, and it looks like the grass seed has been working its way into the soil with the help of all the freeze-thaw cycles this spring. Here's a look at the renovations I did the prior 2 years. There's no snow mold here at all. You may remember that I conducted a late fall fertilizer test here to see if a high-potassium fall fertilizer would increase the snow mold and whether it would help with spring green-up. Well, it's too soon for spring green-up, but it sure didn't cause any increase in the snow mold. This area is looking good. Here's another part of the previous year's renovation. There's still some ice in the corner, but this area is looking very good too. But right up by the house here, there's a small area of snow mold damage. For some reason, the snow mold seems to like being close to the house, and it doesn't seem to matter if it's sunny or a shady area. Here's the other part of last fall's renovation. Again, no snow mold on the new seeding. The snow mold was really bad here last year. The new grass looks good except for a thin area over on the hill there that has more shade and faces away from the sun. That causes cooler soil temperatures and poorer germination. I think there's still enough grass seed that germinated here to be able to fill itself in over the summer. I think I'll let it do that and call it my summer experiment for 2021. This is all Mazama Kentucky Bluegrass that I planted here. And this is all Bluebank Kentucky Bluegrass except for the part under the tree, which is Mazama Kentucky Bluegrass. Winter's over now that spring is here, and the lawn is looking pretty good. It'll be a lot of fun this year seeing how all my experiments turn out and watching all the new grass come in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell next to it so that you don't miss the next video. It's going to be a fun lawn care season, and I'm glad to have you with me this year.